Uh, good evening, everyone. Uh, Rovina, please ano lang ha, please mute lang your phone mo ha, para ano, para yeah. Thank you very much guys for joining in. Maraming salamat po for, taking your time and being here sa presentation natin. We're just so excited to share this pathway again kasi with all the changes in immigration, there's always hope and para makapag-migrate dito yung mga healthcare practitioners just like yourself, no? So we have people from the Philippines joining in. So again, guys, thank you for your time. My name is Brent Anotado. Our company is Bay Consulting Canada Immigration Services Incorporated. We are based here in Calgary, Alberta. Pero syempre, we can serve anywhere naman sa Canada. And even if you're not here sa Canada, we can always help you kung paano man yung application nyo, right? So again, this is about healthcare practitioners, and later on, we're going to have other sessions sa iba't ibang mga occupations, right? Pero inuna ko tong healthcare na segment kasi we have so many healthcare practitioners not only in the Philippines but all over the world. Marami tayong mga nurses, mga nurse aides, mga doctors, etc. Right? So yung objective of this presentation is basically to show you your options to migrate here in Canada. And maybe you know anybody, your friends or families na nasa ganong industry din, feel free to share this video sa kanila. By the end of this presentation, you will have clearer understanding on how things work sa express entry, some of the changes, and how you can prepare. Maybe you wanna migrate now, or maybe you wanna prepare and migrate later. This would be very helpful, no, sa inyo. So, with all the changes right now, it says here Canada's express entry system has undergone its first major update since 2023, right? Um, these updates reflect Canada's shifting labor market demands and the government long-term immigration goals, particularly the areas of education, healthcare, trades, and francophone immigration. Last week, there is some major changes sa immigration. I mean, sa express entry. Some of the occupations may mga dinagdag sila. They've added some of the occupations, and then some they've tinanggal nila. Ipapakita ko sa inyo yun mamaya, right? So before anything else, no, for people na it's just brand new sa inyo what Express Entry is all about. Express Entry is basically it's an online system that IRCC or our immigration uses to manage immigration applications from skilled workers. Under these three programs, guys, meron siyang Canadian Experience Class, which means if nagtatrabaho ka na dito here in Canada for 1 year, right? Um, then you have the chance to apply for PR. At the same time, Federal Skilled Worker Program, this is for professionals that who are not here in Canada, but they have professional background, just like healthcare, maybe just like a healthcare practitioner na pwedeng mag-migrate dito sa Canada. At the same time, yung federal skilled trades, yan yung mga who are already working inside Canada in the trades position, and maybe some of them are outside. Pero I think majority of our listeners right now are here I mean are in the Philippines, so we will be talking more about the Federal Skilled Worker Program. Hindi na po ito bago yung program na to, but they keep on enhancing this and developing this program, right? By the way, one of my partner, Caleb, is here as well. But, Caleb gave me the permission to speak in Tagalog, right? So, Caleb, thank you very, very much, brother, for joining in. All right. Under this immigration program, guys, there's the Canadian Experience Class, Federal Skilled Worker Program, and then Federal Skilled Trades. Yeah. And all of this is a reflection from the Canada website. So feel free to do your own research, and I strongly encourage you to read on these programs para malaman nyo rin kung ano yung mga differences. But we will talk about it today, right? So the way it works, guys, in Express Entry, no. So there's few stages. First is we're going to take a look at your profile, meaning we want to check how many years of experience do you have, maybe as a nurse, anong age mo, right? Yung history mo, professional history, etc. Upon eligibility to one of the economic programs, a profile is created. That is where after na you've completed all your documents, everything is complete, we do your assessment, and you're still eligible, then we will create a profile for you. And then once a profile is created, right, we hope and pray, of course, na mabigyan kayo ng ITA. ITA means invitation to apply for permanent resident. And then once you receive your ITA, you have 60 days para kompletuhin yung application na yon. Yun. And then, ang pinakalas sa bullet point dito, if an applicant declines invitation to apply for PR, the application can stay in the system for the remainder of 12 months. But then again, you've already been invited, so why decline the invitation, di ba? Most of our clients, when they get invited, they pursue the permanent residency submission kagad, right? So dito, ito yung pinaka-simplified process of Express Entry. So number one, we will help you submit your profile. Submit all necessary documents to receive your CRS score. Each individual now is going to create a profile. Yung system will generate yung CRS score. And then at the same time, once you are in the pool, you have a maximum 1 year to be there. And if hindi ka man ma-select, maybe your score is low, right? Because it's a point system, then you can always um, uh, parang i-reopen mo lang yung file mo then just resubmit. Okay? For example naman na after being in the pool and then your score is really good tapos na-select siya ng Canada, na-draw siya ng Canada, you will receive an ITA. And then once you receive an ITA, right, you can proceed to applying for permanent residency and stage 4, ma-approve na yung PR application mo. Right? This is not only for yourself but for you and your family. So buong pamilya to. So ibig sabihin, if for example, si Michael, right, nag-submit siya ng profile niya, tapos naka-receive siya ng ITA, him tsaka kasama yung family niya will be applying for PR and then mabibigyan sila lahat as a family ng permanent residency. The good thing about Express Entry, guys, is, and I always tell our clients about this, na yung iba, they invest in coming here to become a student, no problem naman yun. Yung iba naman, they go to Canada and then they were sponsored by their employer and then they arrive here as a worker, right? But for professionals, I always say na you can always explore this option first kasi una, when you land here, PR na agad. Pangalawa, it's not as expensive as study permit. Pangatlo, why do you want to go through the hassle of coming here temporary kung meron ka namang chance to become PR, right? And then, so of course, our client will decide whether he wants to take advantage of this program or gusto niya iba yung programa na pupuntahan niya. Okay. So dito guys na just a quick um, overview of the benefits of being a permanent resident or PR here in Canada. Of course, you have the right to live, work, and study anywhere. So that means when you arrive here, you have the freedom wherever you want to stay. Pag naka-study permit ka, you're only limited to a province or city. Pag naka-work permit ka, same thing then, limited ka, and you can only work with one employer, right? Second bullet point, it says access to social benefits. Of course, may mga benefits na you can take advantage from our government. Third bullet point says here, pathway to citizenship, which is very, very important kasi, you know, after PR, after living in Canada, within 5 years, maka 3 years, continuous ka lang, then you become a citizen. And then once you have your Canadian passport, of course, you have the freedom to, ano na rin, to travel anywhere you want, right? Right to sponsor family members. So, again, if Michael is here, tapos nauna siya, or maybe kasama yung family niya, once na he's financially established in Canada, right, he can sponsor maybe yung parents niya, yung grandparents niya, and so on, right? Job opportunities, of course, mas okay to na PR ka kasi, you don't have to get a work permit or LMIA, for example, to work with any companies. You have that freedom. Education and training as a nurse, as a healthcare practitioners, right? When you arrive here in Canada, you can take advantage of yung mga less education tuition fees, or maybe you can take advantage of study now, pay later. May mga ganong program dito sa Canada, right? Social Security and pension benefits, of course, yung mga for retirement, may mga ganon na kayo na benefits. Free to engage in business venture, which means, you know, as a PR, permanent resident, you can explore being an entrepreneur or maybe doing some business here in Canada. And lastly, isa sa mga benefit is yung tax benefits or credits. So, may mga bracket na pwede nyong maging eligible para sa mga child tax benefits. So, sinasabi nga nila dito sa Canada, the more kids you have, the more benefits you get, right? Which is true, right? Kasi may mga child tax benefits. Yeah. But of course, it depends on your income bracket as well, right? So those are some of the benefits of being a PR here in Canada, guys. So, under Express Entry, may tinatawag sila na category-based selection. And I have reflected here the 6 categories na one of the priorities ng immigration through Express Entry. Una na dito is yung French language proficiency, which means if you speak French, when you put in your profile, you have higher chance to be selected. Ito sa pinag-usapan natin is healthcare and social services occupation, right? And most of you that are here in our Zoom belongs to that category, di ba? Meron din dyan na science, technology, engineering, math, occupations. Ito na yung mga engineers, right? Mga civil engineers, mga web designers, mga IT, they belong in that category. In my next session, guys, I will talk about this. And then hopefully you can share to your friends or families na that belongs in that group. And I will post it sa Facebook kung ano yung mga occupations na yun. Trade occupations, agriculture, education occupation, ito yung mga teachers naman, right? So, mga teachers, nasa education sila na okay na position. So they have a statement here says who's eligible for the healthcare and social services occupation category. To be eligible, you must have accumulated within the past 3 years at least 6 months of full-time continuous work experience in a single occupation listed in the table below in Canada or in abroad. So, even sinasabi nila na 6 months, guys. Sorry. I will still argue this kasi in order for us to qualify sa Federal Skilled Worker Program, you need to have at least 1 year continuous. Yan. Okay. So, guys, ito yung mga different occupations that belongs in this category, right? So meron tayong mga people that working in the medtech or medical laboratory, right? Kung makikita niyo guys sa first column here, right? Kung makikita niyo dyan, for example, medical laboratory assistant and related technical occupations. If you think you belong in that category, then most likely, yan yung title mo. Tapos dito, this is very important to take note, yung NOC code 33101 kasi that will be the basis of your occupation code, right? And then tier category, once you know your NOC, automatically mag-generate yung tier category nun. I won't show it anymore on how to check your NOC code tsaka tier, but if you think na you belong to the group, we can always check when we do our consultation. So meron dyan, no, mga nurse practitioners, mga nursing coordinators, occupational therapist, optometrists yung sa mata, right? Chiropractors, dentists, mga dental hygienists natin, right? Licensed practical nurses and even massage therapists, right? Tapos other professionals in health in diagnosing and treating, right? Even pharmacists, ang dami natin mga pharmacists, right? Mga physio, psychologists, mga RNs natin. By the way, even if you're not in the Philippines, if you're working outside of the Philippines, tapos you belong on this group, this is your chance to basically come to Canada and apply for permanent residency, right? So these are the different categories, guys. You know, feel free to take a picture or screenshot this, no problem yon. And all of this naman are in the Canadian website. Okay. Even veterinarians, no? Naghahanap ng Canada ngayon, yung mga veterinarians natin, right? So what it is, guys, no? Before, halos lahat ng mga healthcare practitioners, they want to welcome to Canada. But then with the changes in the labor market and the labor demand, nagdagdag sila, nagbawas sila ng mga specific target na occupations that in demand right now here in Canada, specifically in the healthcare profession. Okay? So, baka makita nyo yung iba, wala dyan because of the changes and the demand dito sa Canada. Yan. So, since 2023 guys, nagkaroon ng draw yung healthcare occupations. Kung makikita nyo, for November, example, November 20, 2024, that was last year, nag-draw sila that day for healthcare occupations and 3,000 people were invited. Not only Filipinos, but, you know, everyone that who submitted their profile. And yung lowest score na na-draw that time was 463, which means, example, Michael, gawin lang kita example parati ah. Let's say si Michael, yung score niya, after nilagay namin yung profile sa sa system, let's say yung score niya is 465. And because nag-draw ng 463, he will be one of the people na maimbitahan to apply for permanent resident. So yung score na yan, it will be based on your age, your profession, number of years na experience mo, connections, education, etc. Right? So if I'm a nurse back in the Philippines or maybe I'm in Dubai right now, um, I would take my chance to put my profile here rather than coming here sa Canada as, you know, student kasi nga it will be very expensive. But here, I have the chance na while working in the Philippines, while working in Dubai, malay mo, mabuno tayo. And at the same time, guys, you don't have to leave your current work muna to have your profile. Ang sinasabi ko parati sa client namin dito, parang merong pre-PR application. Eh malay mo, mas select ka, di ba? But right now, again, sa mga healthcare professionals, medyo targeted yung upcoming draws for you guys. So, maybe this is something to consider papunta dito sa Canada. Okay. Ano yung requirements, no? Again, feel free to take notes, feel free to take pictures. Una, language skills. So, because majority of us na nasa Zoom ngayon, majority of you guys are outside Canada, let's talk about Federal Skilled Worker Program. So, sinasabi dito that you need to take your English exam and then score CLB 7, which means CLB 7, reading, writing, listening, and speaking, dapat yung minimum na doon is 7, right? Kung may 6 kayo, you won't qualify, right? Not unless mayari yung tinake nyo na exam is IELTS. Yung IELTS kasi may equivalency na 6 is equivalent to 7 CLB pag kinonvert mo. Okay, basta yung rule dyan, 777, IELTS General or CELPIP General. Popular outside Canada yung IELTS, especially dyan sa Philippines, right? Language test accepted. So ito na guys, no? CELPIP, if you are here, karamihan sa mga dito sa Canada, CELPIP yung tinitake nila. IELTS, IELTS, International English Language Testing System, familiar naman tayo halos lahat yan. If ever man you're gonna take IELTS General Training. Okay? Tapos merong bagong introduce yung PTE. I'm not sure kung meron na dyan sa Philippines, but for people who wants to take PTE, you have to take the PTE core option. Okay. Okay. Type of work experience. So under Federal Skilled Worker Program, your occupation or your experience must be in the NOC tier 0, 1, 2, 3. Right? Kung mapapansin nyo guys, kanina, pinakita ko to, nakalagay yung tier category. So nakalagay dyan yung tier 3, tier 2, tier 1. So if you belong in that group, tapos nalaman mo yung NOC code mo, tapos alam mo yung tier category mo, most likely na uh, pasok ka or eligible ka for this program. So that's another check for you. Okay? Yeah. Amount of work experience. So it says here, in order for you to qualify sa Federal Skilled Worker Program, you need to have at least 1 year continuous within the last 10 years, full time. So when we talk to our clients now, we always ask them, ilang years ka na as naging nurse, ilang years ka na as naging optometrist, and then we put it in the system and then check kung okay ba yung number of experience nila. Yan. So dito, for full-time or full-time equivalent, yung full-time hours na kinoconsider ni Canada is if you work for at least 30 hours a week for 12 months, mapa Pilipinas pa yan or saan, dapat mag-equivalent yan to 1 year full-time or 1,560 hours. So uh, yan yung time frame for you to be considered na nag-work as 1 year, right? If ever man na you're working as a part-time worker, 15 hours a week for 24 months or 2 years will be equivalent to 1 year full-time, right? Yan. Tapos kung meron kang more than one job, so i-combine lang yan, right? Job offer. Ito yung kinagandahan guys kasi under Federal Skilled Worker Program, you don't really need a job offer in order for you to come here. Pero syempre, once you get a job offer, meaning an LMIA job offer, meaning your company went through the LMIA process, they get approved, and then offer you that job, then you will get an extra points, right? So kung wala man, tapos okay naman yung score mo, then you don't need it. Pero when we assess our client, no, aside from putting them in sa system, we always encourage them to continue to look for jobs, submit your resume sa mga different websites, and then, continuously nagpapadala kayo ng mga resume nyo kasi malay nyo, di ba? Right? Education, sa Federal Skilled Worker Program, secondary education is required, ibig sabihin high school lang, pero The higher your education is, the better for you. Majority, of course, are healthcare practitioners, are bachelor's degree naman. So, medyo mataas na yung points natin doon. And if you studied here in Canada, of course, you get an extra points if you completed your 1 year or 2 year program inside Canada. So designated organizations for educational credentials. Eto na siguro yung narinig nyo guys na ECA or maybe WES na nagpapa-assess ng high school or college credentials tapos pinapadala dito sa Canada, no? Majority of our clients, they take uh, or they sign up sa World Education Services. Yung website niyan is wes.org. So what it is basically you open up your profile, right, for immigration purposes, and then they will give you instructions para ipadala mo yung transcripts mo from the Philippines kung saan man yung school mo straight here in Canada. And take note, it needs to be a sealed copy from the school tapos papadala dito. And the reason why they do that is una, of course, they want to make sure that document came from your school or university nyo. Pangalawa, dapat hindi siya bukas para, hindi siya fake, hindi siya fraud na document. Right? So, kung bukas yan, tapos dumating dito sa kanan bukas or photocopy or PDF or I'm sorry, or naka-Xerox copy siya, they won't accept it. It has to be sealed copy tapos merong stamp ng school outside that envelope. Yan. Okay. Isa sa mga gusto ko i-discuss dito sa inyo guys is the show money or proof of funds. So what it is, basically, the Canada wants to make sure that when you move here, you have enough funds to support yourself and support your family until na you are financially established or maybe you find your career na. Uh, Ito yung funds na to, like when you arrive, pambayad sa rent, sa food, sa transportation, sa cellphone bills, etc. Right? And the reality is, once you become PR, tapos nag-arrive kayo as PR dito, hindi naman agad-agad you will be working as a nurse, right? Kasi in order for you to work as a nurse, there's an extra step of certification na kailangan yung kunin. So while you go through that process, when you arrive here, maybe may mga odd jobs muna kayo na pagtatrabahuan for the meantime. And Canada wants to make sure na aside from working sa mga part-time jobs or odd jobs, you have enough funds para to sustain yourself and family. So, if you can see here guys, let's say kung isa ka lang or single ka lang, no, you need to have at least 14,690 Canadian dollars in your bank account. You don't give this to anybody. You don't give this to us or kung sino man yung mag-process ng express entry nyo or ng PR nyo. But basically, this is your funds in your bank account. So kung makikita nyo, the more family members you have, it increases yung funds. But even tumataasan guys, right? I would still get my profile in rather than coming here as a student. So for example, no, etong funds na for example, 1 sem or 1 year of education here sa Canada, pag international student ka, automatically 15,000-16,000 kagad ibabayad mo sa tuition for 1 year, right? Plus, yung show money mo pa, right? So for me, if I have a chance na not to spend that much and then, you know, might as well na i-take ko tong express entry profile if I'm eligible, right? So a question dyan guys is, una, when do you need to show it, right? And then when you need to reflect that, funds sa bank account nyo para sa submission ng PR nyo, right? Oops. So babalikan ko lang tong guys, babalikan ko lang tong process natin, oh. And let's talk about the funds, right? Normally, when we talk to our clients, we have to make sure na we go through all the requirements, including the funding. So when you submit a profile, some of our clients says, okay, we have that already. Okay, fine. So ibig sabihin, when we submit their profile, we can check yung pera na yun. I mean, yung account na yun, yung amount na yun sa profile nila. But we don't have to show the statements muna. All we can say doon sa profile niya, sure, we have that funds available. So we check it and then good na yun. Right? The moment na mabigyan tayo ng ITA, invitation to apply for PR, and then when we submit our permanent residency application, that is the time where we really have to show yung funds na yon in your bank account. It needs to be maybe sa account mo or joint bank account with you and your spouse, for example. Hindi siya pwedeng asset. It has to be liquid na nag-reflect talaga yung minimum requirements, right? Even if you get invited to apply for PR, tapos nag-submit ka ng PR, tapos everything is good, pero yung amount of funds mo is nagkulang ng konti, then uh, medyo magkakaproblema yung application mo for PR, right? So that is where we really come in talaga guys na we want to make sure na when we go to this process, you are ready, right? So again, stage one, we can say na meron kang funds or maybe tinatry mo palang punan yung funds na yun and then alam mo naman kaya man na buuin yung funds na yun, then of course we can say yes sa stage one. But when we arrive in stage 2 and 3, we want to make sure na you have that funds available in your bank account, right? So I just want to clear that para kailangan ko ba ng funds kagad or maybe kailangan ko siya later, right? You can have it later, but just make sure na meron ka talaga nun for later, right? Yeah. So for people who just joined in, guys, we're almost halfway done, but it's okay kasi we have recorded this session and then we will post it later sa Facebook. So you can always watch it again and then, para wala kayong ma-miss. Okay. So again, hopefully yung proof of funds na to, hindi na siya tataas. But then, this was posted or updated last year pa. So, our immigration, there's so many changes. They always change kung ano. So, hopefully hindi na siya mag-change, right? Other factors that may affect your score or profile. So, ito na sinasabi natin, your age, level of education, yung profile ng spouse mo. Because if you have a spouse or husband or wife, you can have one profile tapos yung background niya, yung education niya, yung English requirements niya will add points to your profile as a family. Arrange employment, of course, if you have an LMIA job offer from an employer, so pa pwede yun, na makapag-affect ng fact or makapag-affect sa score nyo. Family members in Canada, it will give you plus points. Education in Canada, tapos provincial nomination, right? So when we talk to clients, guys, this is one of our cheat sheets, right? So tinatanong namin kayo, what's your level of education, right? Kung nakapag high school ba or bachelor's degree back in the Philippines, right? Yung language na uh, proficiency nyo, are you able to meet CLB 7? Or maybe you can do more. Second language, it doesn't apply to us because we don't speak French. Work experience, so yeah, the more experience you have, the more points you get, right? Age, so if you are 35 years old, from 18 to 35, kung makikita nyo dito, you get the maximum points of 12. Pero the older you get, the lower points you get as well. So sa mga clients namin na medyo mga nasa 36 pataas, we always encourage them to score the highest possible score sa language nila, sa IELTS nila. Kasi that's one way to, para mahila yung points nyo, right? Arrange employment, so dyan rin pumapasok yung if somebody offers you a job, tapos LMIA driven yung uh, offer na yun. So, plus 10 points. Adaptability, if your spouse makakuha siya ng CL4 or higher, may extra point siya. Pero again, the more points you get sa English, the better for you guys. Kung nag-aaral kayo sa Canada, kung may past work kayo, kung may mga relatives kayo in Canada. So basically, it gives you extra points. So when we talk to you or talk to whoever now who's interested, these are some of the questions na tinitake down note. Tinitake note namin para sa assessment, right? So again, just a quick recap, guys. When you create your profile, we want to make sure that everything is complete, right? And then if may imbitahan ka, you receive an ITA, invitation to apply, and then apply for permanent residence stage 3. Make sure everything is complete, lahat ng requirements, and then we submit your PR, right? Depending on which country you're applying from, this could take yung entire, yung stage 1, it could take, how many months, depende sa score mo, before you can receive an ITA. If you're lucky, pwede ka makatanggap ng ITA. If not, medyo mababa score mo, then we can re-strategize on how to improve your score, right? Um, the moment you apply for PR, right, so stage 3, it could take 11 months or maybe more than a year for immigration to process. So what they're trying to do now is they're trying to reduce the backlog, which is good. But at the same time, it could be more than a year, right? But at least, you have PR in place. And then when you get approved, you and your family uh, will arrive here in Canada with permanent residency, and you have all the freedom, right? So again, you reference to guys, everything is the kind of Canadian website. This is just a quick overview. If you want to take advantage of this program, feel free to read on it. Feel free to research. And then, if ever man you want to talk to us one-on-one, or if you want to explore, or if you want to book, you know, feel free to take a picture of this. Andyan yung booking namin. And then, kung ano man, you can always send us a message in Facebook, TikTok, if you want to explore this option. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. And I think we have 10 more minutes before we close to. If you have any questions or concern, I will open uh, the room now. If you have any questions or concerns, right? Caleb, you have a question?
Um, no, not really. Just that we need to follow that 1 year minimum experience, right? Instead of 6 months, just keep it.
Yeah, yeah. But it's just it's minimum. But of course, the more experience you have, the better points you get, right?
That's right.
So yeah, I mean, it's interesting because they've updated this express entry. They've taken out some of the occupations and they've added more occupations. So
Mm. Also, another question is for example, if there is a person, a family member, and that family member is in the country and wants to employ somebody from the family member itself from another country. So, for example, an elderly person in Canada, in Alberta, wants to call in their grandson to come and look after them, and they have that experience. Is that allowed?
yeah, I mean, so the employer is the people here in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's allowed. I mean, if they have a facility or if they have a company, right? Let's say, for example, that company applies for LMIA, and then once
Yeah.
it's then they can hire his family member back in their country, and you know, if the kid or the worker has already a profile, you can always add this LMIA job offer in his profile to get more points. That's the first option. Second option is we can always check the caregiver program, and we're going to have another session about that because if the elder folks here needs care, right, and if the worker is eligible as a caregiver, then maybe that's one of the options for them.
Mhm.
But again, we check which one is the better pathway for their needs, right? So
Sounds good. Yeah. Thanks.
yeah, yeah. So guys, I think we can end siguro na if there's no more questions. Um, so dito Ross is asking how much for the consultation, right? We normally charge $50 Canadian for consultation or 2,000 pesos, right? Why we do that, guys? Kasi before we were doing free consultation and people keep on booking pero they don't show up sa meeting. So nasasayang yung oras na slot, right? Pero if you book an appointment with us, tapos you paid that consultation and you become our client, ibig sabihin you acquired our service, we can always reimburse that 50 towards your contract. So mababawasan. Yan. So yeah, Ross, hopefully, kung sakali man, uh, with all the information na nakita mo, and if you feel like na you might be eligible, of course, we would love to talk to you one-on-one para makapag-assessment tayo ng proper, properly. Yan. Yan. So I think we're done, no? Again, thank you for joining in. I know you guys stayed up late. Medyo hating gabi na dyan sa Philippines. I will post this video sa Facebook so you can always go back and then verify, then study it, and then check. And then if you have friends or families na you feel like na kasama doon sa categories na yon, let us know para mag-guide namin sila. Again, um, there's really, kumbaga, there's really no obligation when you book an appointment. I always encourage people to do it on their own because it's easy naman. But of course, if you want a service, we can be there from start to finish para sa inyo. So yan, thank you very much. Salamat sa pag-follow ng Facebook namin. And hopefully, nakatulong ng konti sa inyo to for your plans to coming to Canada. So again, have a good night, everyone. Thank you for joining in. We always say, dream big with Dodong B. All right. See you guys. Maraming salamat.